What is the meanest thing your husband has said to you? 1. One time we were having a disagreement. It got rather heated. My husband hugged me and said softly, "You know, Maureen, every once in a while, and it is by no means often, you can be a bit of a pain in the neck." He went into the other room to cool down. He came back after a little while and apologized. "I am so sorry. No man should ever talk to his wife like that." That was it. That was the meanest thing he has said in 35 years. My heart breaks for all the ladies that have such deplorable husbands. I'm glad to see that many of you kick those guys to the curb, where they belong. How devastating. You deserve way better. I know I got very, very lucky. I drop to my knees daily and thank the good Lord for bringing me someone far better than I could ever deserve. Peace. 2. When I walked out of Walmart one night, my husband was talking to some woman. We're in Tennessee on a business trip, mind you. So we go straight back to our hotel. When we get inside with everything he told me, I could have fucked her tonight if I wanted to, referring to the woman from Walmart earlier. I locked myself into the bathroom right after that and cried all night. Then, several months later, we drove past a cemetery where there were no gravestones or they were all flat. I told him I didn't want to be buried in a cemetery like that. That was when he told me not to worry about it because he already had a deep well picked out for me. After that comment was made, I changed my life insurance to my dad when he was gone to work. I ended up divorcing him within a year and I got full custody of my kids. He'd found out I'd changed my insurance policy the week it happened, which helped speed up the divorce. 3. I once asked my ex-husband if I could go out to the bar with him on a Saturday night. He always went to the bar on the weekends. He looked me in the eye and asked me to stand in front of our large mirror with him. He caressed my hair and said gently, "Look at you, hon. You're just not that attractive and frankly overweight. Walking in with you would not only be embarrassing for me, but for you as well. You wouldn't want me to get made fun of at work just for being married to someone like you, would you?" I was shocked. I was heartbroken. I cried myself to sleep many nights because of that man. When he walked out on my daughter and I years later, I finally found my voice. I was in charge now. I grabbed a hold of my life, lost weight, and got remarried to the most amazing man on the planet. 4. Nope. We had a 3-year-old at the time. Our daughter, 15. I had taken on a high-stress career that dropped in my lap in a field that I knew nothing about at age 40. My ex had taken on a small farm of animals that we also knew nothing about, except most of them are delicious. I was working day and night, trying to keep up with my work and keep a spotless house and well cared for people. I was exhausted. I didn't feel well. And then they found a lump on my breast. Great. The chickens. Oh, how I love those chickens. With their silly personalities and unconditional love. Chickens are extremely therapeutic and I enjoyed them immensely. They made me smile, and laugh, and fall into a mud hole in my pajamas while fending off a crazy rooster lion tamer fashion with a plastic chair while the neighbors drove by. I could have done without that last part. I don't recommend it. Will you help me take care of the chickens right now while I don't feel good? That is what I asked my ex. Nope. I am just going to get rid of them. I really don't want to get rid of the chickens, but it bothers you more than it bothers me. The day I had to go find out if I had cancer or not, he took off to Florida with his mom, my kids, and one of his buddies. And great news, he was the only cancer I had and I cut him out. 5. I keep telling her that as long as she keeps begging for it up the ass, we ain't ever going to be able to have another baby. My first husband was a real piece of work, and used to say the most crude and disgusting things at the most inappropriate times. He said this in a half-drunken state when we had 2 other couples over for drinks and to play cards, and one of the other wives asked if we were planning on having any more children. I had been battling PCOS and infertility for about 2 years by that point, a total of 12 years by the time my miracle baby came along in 2016 with my wonderful second husband, and he knew how much I wanted another baby. He knew that I cried every month when the pregnancy tests were negative. He knew that I cringed every time someone would ask if we were going to have more children. He knew that I desperately wanted more children. He knew all of these things, and he still said such a hurtful, horrible, disgusting lie to 4 people I hardly even knew at the time. I will never forget the look of horror and shock on their faces, and then one of the women, who later went on to become one of my dearest bestest friends, involuntarily and reflexively reached out and smacked him straight across the face and said, "You're a disgusting pig. We're going home, and your wife is coming with us. She'll come home when she feels like it, which is hopefully never." Unfortunately, I did come home the next morning when he called me crying and sober and begging for forgiveness. I spent a total of 8 years in that marriage, and although I received my beautiful amazing daughter from it, I received nothing else but life lessons on what I did not want in a relationship. 6. When I left my ex, he threatened to go around and announce to all my professional contacts that I was a whore and a heartless bitch. I just smiled and responded that as I was a professional litigator, that would only enhance my reputation. Couple of years later, someone forwarded me a link where he was ranting on me online to a group of his friends. And amazingly, not a single one of these guys expressed any kind of sympathy for him. A couple of them even said something like, "Are you saying she is single now? Can I have her number?" 7. First night after marriage, I make a move. He pushes me away gently and says I am not in the mood. I took it sportively because it was our wedding night and I assumed he was tired. So second night, I am all excited and prepped up to get intimate with hubby, and guess what he says? "Not today. I am too tired. Maybe another day." 1 year and 3 months later, he still says the same lines. I've started doubting myself and no longer feel womanly or sexual. I don't blame him, but at least he could have rejected me before getting married to me and raising my hopes. I wish he were physically attracted to me.